So you've got a dog in South Windsor and you're looking for a trainer. You're in the right place. We're going to walk through everything you need to know to find the best possible professional for your dog so you can feel really good about your choice. Let's get right to it. Just picture it. You're out for a walk, maybe along the river, or you're heading to Evergreen Walk, and your dog is just calmly walking right beside you, totally relaxed. That's what this is all about. A well-trained dog just makes it so much easier, and frankly, more fun, to enjoy everything our town has to offer. All right, so first up, let's talk about why training is especially helpful right here in our community. And believe me, it's about so much more than just sit and stat. Really, good training is all about helping your dog fit into the flow of local life. It's making sure they're comfortable and polite. You know, whether you're on a popular trail like the Greenway, or you find yourself at a busy event at Nevers Park, it's all about being a good canine neighbor. So what does good training actually look like? When you're looking for a trainer, what kind of approach should you be hoping to find? Let's get into the core principles of what works. Okay, this is a really important distinction to understand. Modern, effective training is all about building trust and rewarding your dog for making good choices. The old school methods that use fear or intimidation, well, they can actually make behavior problems worse and really hurt that special bond you have with your dog. The method you really want to see is called positive reinforcement. It's pretty simple, actually. It just means using something your dog loves, like a small treat, a favorite toy, or even just some excited praise, right after they do something you want them to do. Think of it less like a bribe and more like a paycheck for a job well done. It creates a dog who actually enjoys learning. Now, you might see a bunch of letters after a trainer's name. They might look like alphabet soup, but they're actually a great way to check a trainer's level of expertise. For example, a CPDTK means they're certified and have passed a serious exam. And if you're dealing with tougher issues like anxiety or aggression, look for ones like CBCCK or IABCCDBC. Those show they have specialized knowledge in behavior. Okay, so you know the philosophy to look for. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts. How do you actually go about evaluating and picking the right person for you and your dog? And of course, one of the biggest questions is about cost. It's a good idea to have a realistic picture of what training services typically go for here in the South Windsor and Greater Hartford County area. So let's look at some typical numbers. For a standard 6-week group class, like for puppies or basic obedience, you're usually looking at somewhere between $180 and $350. If you want a private one-on-one lesson, those often fall between $100 and $160 each. And for the really intensive options, like a board and train program, the price can range from about $2,200 to $4,800. That should give you a good idea for your budget. Generally, training comes in 3 main flavors. You've got your group classes, private lessons, and then the more immersive board and train programs. Each one has its own benefits, and the best one for you really depends on your dog and your specific goals. Group classes are awesome, especially for learning to focus when there's a lot going on. If you want a dog who can listen to you, even with all the sights and smells of something like the South Windsor Farmers Market, group classes are the perfect place to practice that in a controlled way. But what if the main problems are happening right inside your own house? Things like your dog bolting out the front door, jumping all over guests, or grabbing food off the counter. That's where private lessons are perfect. The trainer comes to you and can see exactly what's happening, where it's happening, and build a plan just for that. Now, board and trains are definitely the most intensive option. Your dog lives with a trainer for a couple of weeks to get a really solid foundation of skills. But, and this is a really big but, the success of these programs completely depends on you. You have to be committed to keeping up with the training once your dog is back home. The trainer does the hard part, but you have to maintain it. So when you actually call a trainer, what should you ask? Here's a quick checklist. Ask them straight up about their training philosophy. Ask about their credentials and how they keep their skills up to date. Ask how they'll personalize the training for your dog's specific needs and how you'll both track progress. And before you agree to anything, get a crystal clear understanding of all the fees and what their cancellation policy is. Okay, let's switch gears. Once you're working on those new skills, you need to know the local rules and, of course, the best places around town to practice. When it comes to South Windsor's leash law, there is just one number you need to burn into your memory: 7. That's right, the town ordinance is super clear. Anytime your dog is off your own property, they have to be on a leash that's no longer than 7 feet. This goes for all the parks, sidewalks, and trails. The only exception is the official fenced-in dog park. Besides the leash law, there are a few other things to keep on your radar. State law requires your dog to be vaccinated for rabies, and you also need to license them with the town every year. And, it's always good to be mindful of the town's nuisance barking laws to make sure you're keeping your neighbors happy. So, where can you go to work on all this stuff? Well, the South Windsor Dog Park is perfect for practicing recall in a safe, off-leash area. The Charter Oak Greenway is fantastic for working on that loose leash walking skill with distractions like bikes and other people. And the big open fields at Wappin Park are great for practicing focus and long-distance stays. Picking the right trainer really is the first big step in building an amazing partnership with your dog. Remember that all the time and effort you put in now is going to pay off big time, giving you a confident, well-behaved buddy that you can truly enjoy life with, both at home and everywhere around our great town.